One of the things we are keen to do here at Forth Valley Sensory Centre is to encourage knowledge of sensory loss within the wider community, particularly within young people and young people's groups. Centre user Lawson recently went out and did a talk to a group of Beaver Scouts on this exact topic, and she's here today just to explain how that went. Lawson.
I recently visited the beavers in the centre of Stirling. It was a cold, wet, miserable night, and I went along with my husband, and the first thing that hit me was the noise. But once we got over the noise and the children quietened down, we had a very fun evening. We started off by showing the boys and girls some pieces of equipment that we use every day, like the alarm clock that talks, the pen friend that we use to label things that talks to us. I showed them some items in Braille and gave them a Braille alphabet so that they could look and see what all the letters were. I showed them how I use my white cane to guide me around, and I explained that sometimes I would take someone's arm and they would help me get around. We then had a box that they could put their hand into with some mystery objects which they had to explain. They had to try and explain what the shape was and give me a guess of what the item was. And we had bits and pieces in there like shapes of stars. There was a headband, a girl's headband, and 3 or 4 of them had a shot at this, and only one of them couldn't guess what the item was. But that was to demonstrate how difficult it is for a visually impaired person to work out what they're actually touching using the shapes. We then threw it open for some questions, which was very interesting. What I like about going out to children's groups is that they are not as inhibited as adults when it comes to asking questions. So you always get some quite interesting questions. Some that I got on the night were, how do I eat? Well, I explained that I eat in the same way as everyone else, but I might have to ask someone to help me identify what was on the plate or show me where certain things were on the plate. And if it was something that was difficult to eat, I might ask someone to cut it up for me. I was then asked, why couldn't I see? And that's quite a difficult one when it comes to children, because you don't want to frighten them for a start. So I just explained that because there was something wrong in the back of my eye, I could no longer see. And they were quite happy with that. Another question I got, which is quite a common question when I go out to speak to children, was, how do I brush my teeth? So I explained it was very difficult for a blind person to get toothpaste onto the toothbrush without squeezing it everywhere. So I told them that I used a toothpaste which comes in a pump, and I was able to either squeeze it into my mouth or squeeze it onto my finger and then put it onto my toothbrush using my sense of touch. So, despite the miserable night and the noisy children, I had a great time at the Beavers in Stirling. And if your group would like to know more about the Sensory Centre and sensory impairment, please do get in touch, and thank you for listening.
Lawson, thank you very much.